Welcome to the MOTS EDI webinar, November 6, 2024. I hope you all got some sleep last night because those darn elections always last way and way longer, and it can kind of ruin your sleep and cost you a lot of sleep. So hopefully everybody can stay with it, and we can give you a good slideshow to kind of get you more and more information. So as you can see at the bottom, this event will be recorded. So if you have concerns, please contact the webinar host. And our webinar host for today is Kayla Camelli. Thank you, Kayla, for running this. And your MC is myself, Pete Vermeer. Most of you probably have heard of me because I have been here way too long. And I'll be here a little bit longer. So, because I'd love to see what's going to happen to the next iterations of our systems and our data. So, welcome, and let's go and see what the agenda looks like today. Okay, we have quite an agenda. We have 13 items. Welcome. That was just me. And then this is the agenda. And it looks like we have a lot to talk about. I will show you the team, what the objectives are for a webinar for those of you who are still fairly new to this MOTS and future roads world. And the objectives that we have, the roads go live. There's an update, breaking news. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how important it is to keep your data up to date. Jody, of course, as our EDI specialist, will be talking about EHR file prep and talking about roads access for the EDI providers. MFA is a multi-factor authentication. Kelly will be talking to you about that. And she will also be talking about the intro to MOTS. That's also another webinar that we do. And then, of course, an oldie but goodie, switching from CE to EDI or from one EDI to another. And Jody will give you all the details about that. And then at the end, we have some room for some questions and answers, and we'll leave your contact information as the last show. So, okay, let's go with introducing the team. For those of you new to our behavioral health non-Medicaid world. Kayla Camelli, the MOTS system admin and roads product owner, and the runner of the slideshow here today. So myself, Pete Vermeer, MOTS senior systems analyst, and also heavily involved in the roads testing and trying to help as much as I can in any form, way, or shape. And also the assistant product owner of the behavioral health data warehouse, or Oregon data environment, as we call it. And then we have Mary, our MOTS support specialist. She is the front desk, basically, of any issues that you might have. And from the MOTS support specialist, I'm pretty sure she will transition into the road support specialist. And we also have Cecilia, who does a lot of similar things. And those are the two faces with the names that you hear probably a lot or run into a lot or see in the emails a lot. And then we have Justin, who is our MOTS report specialist and research analyst. Any data that you would like to see out of any of the systems that we have, you can always knock on his door and he can come up with the most amazing reports, and he's getting really, really good at that. So, and he knows our data very well, so that's good. Jody, MOTS EDI technical expert and roads product co-owner with Kayla. And of course, we have a junior system admin with a double quote of the junior, but that's a kind of an inside joke, Lisa Tseko. And she is fairly new to this world, and you'll probably get in touch with her, and she's a big help to our team, definitely. And then we have Anna, who's another MOTS report specialist, because we have so many demands and so much data that we needed a second report specialist, and also data analyst. And she's getting very familiar with the data. So if Justin can't make it or is busy with a bunch of other things, then you can always go to Anna, and pretty sure she can help you. And then last but not least, Kelly Wollstonecroft, Roads and Compass Program Communications Analyst. That is quite a mouthful. She is trying to get all the communication between outside organization, inside organization, different units, people and stuff and everything. And she's doing an amazing job, and it's fun to work with all the time. So a little overview of our team. So let's go to the next item. Why do we do this? Well, give you information on changes and enhancements. And there are changes. There are always changes. That's the only constant. We all know that. And any information on any enhancements that we make on any systems that we are running and that you might be involved, any things that hopefully will improve everybody's way of working and everybody's business and making things easier. Discuss data issues. That's something that I'd love to do because I'm a bit of a nerd, but everybody will probably know that by now. And I love to talk about those minute issues. If you change this a little bit, then that can have that effect, and then we'll look this way, and then things we see sometimes and certain trends that happen within the organizations and within the data that we kind of and then we raise a red flag, or we say, hey, are you sure that's going that way? Or we hear things in the news, or there's information going on about certain trends or that we see in the behavioral health world or in the treatment world, and that we'd love to talk about it here to make sure that we have the best data that we can get. We'd love to get your feedback. That's why I love this platform that we have here today. It's a lot more flexible than the old ones that we used to have. You can kind of jump in, you can raise your hand, you can ask questions, you can put it in the chat. And if we can kind of work it in, then hopefully we can kind of communicate that. Also, if you can't get your feedback in today, during the webinar, because we only have an hour, then we'll definitely have room, and you know all our help desks and email addresses that we have, and we'll get those to you as a reminder in the last slide of the webinar. Ideas for future webinar topics. That's also a good one. There's always things that we are probably not as aware of as you guys are. There are things happening in your treatment world that we could discuss, like maybe we make room within our systems to get more information about the things that are happening there. So, and hopefully if you have currently any questions about anything that's going on here, we can answer them today. So that's our goal. Next one is Roads Go Live, and I'll hand off the microphone to Kayla.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm going to assume you can until I hear otherwise.
Sounds good.
Perfect. There's been an update to our Roads Go Live. We, as you may know, we have talked about doing user acceptance testing the last many weeks. And during that testing, we found some system bugs that will take a little bit longer to resolve. So right now, our go live date that was originally scheduled or originally rescheduled to December 16th is now looking to be in Q1 of 2025. We're working very diligently with the contractor to try to resolve those issues. But ultimately, we want to make sure that the system is adequately prepared for users. And so we'd much rather push a go live date than try to meet a date and have a system that fails in any way. So we thank you for your patience. We know it's been a long journey with us on this roads roller coaster. And hopefully we're at the end here, but just a little bit longer until we go live.
Thanks, Kayla. And then keep data up to date. There we go. Thank you. But there's also some good news, and that is for the procrastinators under us. And I include myself because I know the snooze button is something that I love to push in the morning, although I shouldn't, but you also make room for that. So anything. The more since we have postponed the go live date, we have a little more time, not too much, because before you know it, it's 2025, to kind of clean up our data. And of course, as everybody knows, the more current you are currently, that's probably not a good sentence, but if you are up to date as much as you can, then there's a lot less conversion going on, because now we have, if everything that you have in MOTS and everything that you've needed to fix and that there's some errors here and there that you had to fix in your system that had to come through in our system, because once we move to the new system, all the data will move with it from MOTS. So if you have all your stuff in MOTS, then it'll be a fairly smooth transformation and move into the new system, because then you don't have any um, errors hanging around or any fixes that need to be done. And usually when you kind of moved from that one system to another, there's always tweaks that need to be done while they do the conversion. So if you have to go from your system to the new system, bypassing the system that it used to be going into, then you might have some problems. So um, another thing that I'd like to remind you of, that the reporting cadences have not changed at all. All your reports should come in as they have been, and they were going to keep doing that until we tell you otherwise. So if you are missing a report or something is not happening as you expect or as it was in the past, please let us know, because something might have changed here or there. So we still run into little things. We've been doing MOTS for over 10 years now, and it's running pretty good, but we still little tweaks here and there happen, and sometimes little hiccups happen. So please let us know if there's something that is not working as you expected. So another big one is your portal access. Can you still log into MOTS? Please let us know, because then we know how many active users will be going into roads, and we want to make sure that everybody that currently has access will have access to the new system. And if something expired or lapsed, or you forgot, or you didn't know you had it, or the person who used to be the person with access to MOTS no longer works with your own organization or has moved on to other different, bigger, better things, and it landed on your lap and you haven't logged in, because you don't really need to log into the system, because you support a file through FTP and that's uploaded and goes into the system. But please check to see if you can, or if there's someone that can, and then we know how many active users Rose will have, because that will save us a lot of work. So, and as I said, clean up your data and before the shift to reduce technical debt. It's a very nice term, but it's a very important term. And small changes in your system, our system, can lead to a lot of chaos and a lot of fixes that we have to do, and a lot of cleanup that we have to do later on. So the cleaner and more up to date we are today, the easier the transition will be. Okay, that's what I would talk about for this one. Thank you. And then we give the mic to Jody, EHR file prep. Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. So yeah, we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, there are some organizations that have been contacting us that are either doing in-house development on the like on an extract to send through EDI files. So if your organization is planning to try and build a file from either your existing EHR with your own IT teams, um, we are wanting you to send to MOTS, like we want to get your data submission process via the MOTS portal to ensure that you can remain in compliance. So I think, all the MOTS EDI files that you are developing now will be pushed into roads upon go live. So basically, I guess what we're saying is if you are either developing in-house, or if your EHR that you currently have maybe hasn't been supporting EDI functionality and they are looking to build that out, we just want to make sure you get us folded in so that we can be helpful to assist with questions. I know we've had a few folks that we've gotten, Justin's come in and helped with a few things. So we want to make sure we got enough resources for you. And also we can help you determine if it's, actually able to be done. Because sometimes you might get our documents for EDI, or you might get, your EHR says, okay, well, we'll take a look at it, but we need the documents. And so once they get those, then they have a slew of questions typically. So anyhow, we just want to make sure that you're aware if you are doing that and you're currently, maybe you're doing client entry at the moment through our MOTS portal. If we talk about how you're going about this and what you're doing and how you're prepping for this development, we can make sure that you remain within the reporting compliance. And we also can work with you on the windows of transition where maybe there is a gap in reporting, which does happen, but when we're all on the same page and we're all informed, we can help you also express that to others within OHA that may have questions on how's your reporting going, what are you doing, those kind of things. So we can become an asset and a part of the team to help you navigate this, because it is a lift for anybody who's doing it. So we just wanted to remind folks of that, to get a hold of us. We'll make sure we get your processes going correctly, and talk about what you need to continue doing while you're developing, and when we can do some cutovers. And again, all development that you're doing now will still be used in MOTS in roads, because the MOTS files that are coming in today are considered roads legacy V1 fields. So, yeah. So I hope that made sense. It was a little convoluted, but anyways, I think I got the piece of it encapsulated I was trying to get out.
I'm not seeing anybody raising their hand, Jody, so I think they're first trying to digest it, or they understood everything. So cool.
Oh,
Okay, the next one, MFA, Kelly. Sorry.
Thomas has his hand up.
Oh, darn. I spoke too soon. Go ahead, Thomas. Maybe type it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. There is.
Okay, just quick question, because this came back from a question that Jody had answered previously, and I just want to make sure I've got it straight. Currently, we have one client that is submitting MOTS transactions, and they're getting kickback because some of the formatting wasn't right for the SSN. From my email conversation with Jody, the SSN is not required for MOTS, but it will be a data field for roads. So that would in turn make the SSN a requirement. Is this correct?
So when roads goes live for EDI, what we're calling V2, there is an SSN field that we will capture. I'm trying to remember if it's required or not. I don't have the document.
It will not be required.
Okay, super. So it's not required, but it is recommended to send if the provider has it and it's, as accurate as they can, validate that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So no need to worry about it in the the first go live version. So, but keep it in the back of your mind that it is something that we would like to have.
It just helps us to try to really identify the actual person,
Yep.
So across all providers and services. So, yeah.
Right. Believe me, I get it. Like, for example, during the forest fires, when folks in care facilities were being transported to other counties, that's an important data piece.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, then it's now Kelly, MFA.
Oh, you skipped.
I'm
sorry.
seeing Jody.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that's okay.
I heard Jody enough already today. So
Yeah, he's like, I've had enough of that. Word
still
salad
going.
master.
Go ahead, Jody. Sorry.
That's all right. Anyways, so EDI providers to roads access. So like this is kind of ties on to the one that Pete was talking about prior to my before dialogue. Anyways, so the currently for the MOTS portal, you may or may not have a login like Pete mentioned, and this is separate from the SFTP logins. Okay, so those are one thing, and then your personal logins to the MOTS portal, or soon to be the roads portal, are separate. Okay. And so some of you I know have some and probably are disabled because you haven't logged in for a long time because the MOTS web portal is not really very beneficial for you. I'll just be honest. It's, once you're set up, you're kind of good to go. So, but the road system is going to be different because we do have ways for you to actually see your client, see the episodes of care underneath them, see the history, see a lot of things. And a lot of this will be read only because we don't want to get out of sync with your EHRs, but it's going to give you, like some good prescription lenses, a little more into your data than you've had before. So what we're wanting to make sure, because I was looking through the list of some of the providers that have, logins, and I noticed that there's some that don't. And a few that I work with frequently. So we want you to email MOT support and copy me. And I'm also going to send an email out to you all. So if you don't remember to do it from here, that's okay. When you see my email come through, just pay attention to it, please. What we want you to do is to provide your primary and secondary contact for your agency and facility. Because what we're going to do with those elements of information is we're going to see if those two individuals already have access. If those aren't the individuals that have access, we will verify that. Once we can determine if you have an existing one or if you need one, we're going to help you on the path of next steps so that we can get you a login. And Kelly's going to talk about MFA, which is the multi-factor authentication process, which is a secondary piece that is needed to get into the roads portal. Okay. That is not needed for the SFTP, but we want to make sure that we're getting ahead. Thank goodness the go live, I think, got pushed. We got a little more time to get ahead of you being able to get these logins. They're going to be necessary for training. Okay. And the training is going to be on, the roads portal and the EDI, added things that you all can do. So, it'll be important. We want to get you trained. Extremely, I evidently had some caffeine or something, so I'm very wordy this morning. But bottom line is roads portal is going to be more advantageous for you, have some benefits, and please send MOT support, copy me, who your primary and secondary contacts for your organization should be. We're going to verify if you're in there or not, and we're going to then take next steps to guide you through getting access. There we go. Have you heard enough, Pete? Did I fill the
Excellent, Jody. Yeah, you can take a
Jody
breather, get another sip of your coffee and some more caffeine to get going for the next couple of steps. So, thanks, Jody. Okay, as we said earlier, multi-factor authentication, MFA. Kelly, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, good morning, everyone. I apologize. I'm working through a cold right now, so I'm not sounding my best. But as Jody was just saying, multi-factor authentication, MFA, is going to be needed for all providers for the roads training and the portal. And so it's something that you're going to need to get set up. And I'm sure you've all encountered MFA with your bank or doctor's offices. It's just that extra added layer of security that's important to keep data safe. So it is going to be a part of roads. We've had some recent changes to the MFA setup. And so we are working on right now creating updated step-by-step guides. So we don't have those at this time, so just kind of hold tight. We are working on getting some support sessions on the calendar, so that will help you. It's definitely not the it's a process, this MFA setup. So we're going to be offering support sessions to help you through it. So be on the lookout for some communications going out when we have those dates available. It'll probably be a kind of a webinar style like this, or a one-on-one bookings situation. So we will be getting out some communications to you soon. Hopefully, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll have some of those on the calendar. So if you need to get MFA set up, or you have questions, or you've tried and it's not working, or you're stuck, please reach out to us, and we're going to be getting those sessions to help you get all set up soon. So yeah, thank you.
Excellent, Kelly. I think we have another one for you. Intro to MOTS.
I love it. I just love to keep on talking. Yeah, so
Especially with the cold, huh?
exactly. Just trying not to sneeze. Intro to MOTS. So we have this on the every second Wednesday of the month. And this is designed to onboard new folks into the MOTS system. And it's great if you have anyone on your team that wants to join or you want a refresher. Please join us. There's an opportunity to ask questions and get clarification. There's a kind of a demo that shows walking through. And so, yeah, please join us. It's on November 13th at 10, and you can register. There'll be a link. I can also pop that in the chat.
Excellent, Kelly. Thank you. Yes, it's a great hour to talk about data and all the, especially if you're still fairly new in the behavioral health world. It's talking about some abbreviations we use, some terminology, and all as Kelly said, all this data that you will be learning about will be coming back into the new road system, and then probably a little more information as well. So, okay. Guess who's next? Switching CE to EDI or EDI to EDI? Jody, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Pete. So yeah, we do know that there's a lot of folks still changing systems, finding things that work better for them, updating their platforms. So if you are going through any of this, please, number one, that's why it's bold and in blue. Let us know that you're thinking of doing this or that you are already doing it. This helps us to understand kind of where your project is at. Electronic health records and MOTS functionality. This is for folks, this kind of is for folks who are maybe, still going through an RFP process, request for proposals, or, that type of thing. It's always what we found from feedback from other providers over the past 10 years are some questions that have helped them to determine how the MOTS functionality works when it comes to the EDI piece. So they ask, what's the actual business process? How does this work from the time my client walks in the door into the system to actually getting submitted to MOTS? How much staff time is going to be required? Who's going to do which steps? Of course, for us, there's not one way that's better than another. There's just differences in workflows. And of course, for us, we just have a specification that as long as your file meets those specifications and requirements, we take that. But it is nice to know what, is going to be expected out of your staff, because the myth that there's never a human intervention still, or at some point, it's not, there's always somebody who is administering or doing certain functions within that. So it just helps to know and to figure out how that's going to work moving forward. Project timing is why we really want to know about the change. So if you're fast tracking 30 to 60 days, like that's pretty quick. Or if it's, 3 to 6 months or a year out, we get the right people on board. As you can see, we have some new faces on the intro slide. And so we are really blessed that some of our Compass folks have come on to the team over here with us. And so we want to make sure we have folks assigned and able to assist your needs. There's a process for changing data submissions if you are currently doing manual entry. If you are currently doing EDI, you won't be switching data submissions, but we will be expiring the certification for your prior system and then recertifying with your new system. Your secure file transfer protocol is where your files come to and where you pick up results files, whether it's you or your system. If you are already EDI, that's going to remain the same. That is static to you and your organization, regardless of which EHR you're using. If you're client entry, we're going to set this up for you. Client ID considerations, if you're going from one system to another, we probably want to talk through how you plan on submitting that data into what facility, are there client ID conflicts we need to resolve? We'll do that. Defining your business processes kind of just ties back up to the functionality piece. So you know who's doing what. So when you get done testing your files and you go live, like everybody's clear on their expectation of what they're doing. And that helps to keep the cadence going of sending your files, however that happens, on a consistent basis. The testing of your files is required even if you get a system that is already submitting to MOTS through through their other customers, because with the new systems and customization and different domains and areas for each of you to do what you need to do, we need to make sure that your setup is still in full alignment with all of the mappings and different stuff. So it'll go pretty painless for the most part. We'll try to make that happen. We're going to go live, then we're going to follow up. So this is really just top to bottom. We've been doing this for 10 years. So we've kind of got it nailed pretty close. You know, like the 80-20 rule. I think it's a little better than 80-20 is like, but we definitely know how to help you navigate this because it is always a big lift when you're switching systems. And then on top of that, you got to switch your MOTS way of doing things too, or roads. So that's kind of all I have on that slide. I did notice as I was looking at the agenda, paying attention, that the one thing we didn't talk about, and I haven't seen it in the chat yet, but I'm just going to talk about the elephant in the room beyond the go live date getting pushed. The documents for the EDI V2 version 2 is going to still be probably out into Q1. We have been focusing a lot of time on the UAT and the regression of the system, hence why we're moving that go live date. And with that being said, we have honed in our focus on the legacy V1 to make sure that that is 100% as much as possible. And so those documents are very close to being completed. We are in up for a review cycle on the data dictionary. I feel confident that we are very close on that. Once that is, agreed upon, then the document, they are companion documents to one another that says how to build the file. Then that one will get the polished pieces on it so that it matches with the data dictionary. But we are probably looking at Q1 at this point for those documents. We do still understand that regardless of when they come out, that there will be a spool up and a development time required for your EHR provider or your systems to perform this work, as well as your in-house folks who are doing things in-house. So if you've got any concerns or questions on these elements and pieces, please reach out to myself. And we will help work with that and try to answer the questions that we are able to. Additionally, I would like to just do a shout out. We have a couple EHRs that ingest the results automatically, and they have been great to help us tailor in the results files, and they've been doing some testing with us to make sure that they can get those in their system. And I just want to, call out a thanks for those that are doing that, because this is really helping us to bring in the version 1 tight, because when you're going from one system to another, it is a lift to do. And so that has been very, very helpful. For those that don't bring them in automatically, this is still a body of work that is so crucial, because you all get the results files and you do what you do with them, right? So this is really ensuring that everything's working well. So with that, you can enjoy your holiday season, however you do that, and know that we will be in 2025 to spool up your roads trip. So that's all I got to say on that. I just wanted to address it because it's always usually a question.
Yeah, that's excellent, Jody. Yes, our main focus has been version 1, which is basically copying all the mod stuff that we currently have into the new road stuff, and that should all be working. And We're trying to go for 100%, but it's usually 99.999 or something like that. So, but excellent. Yes, thank you, Jody. Okay, time for some Q&A. I saw one person, Justin, you had a question or a comment.
An announcement, actually. As some of you have noticed, the active client reports did not go out on the first of the month as they were supposed to, and I'm sure you're desperately missing the anomaly reports that were due on Monday. There was a problem with one of the data servers, and everything was backed up as of October 29th. So none of the reports would have had current data. And then there was another problem that was stopping the reports from going out anyway. During this meeting, those have been resolved. Our data is current. And as soon as we log out here, I will be reactivating the reports so that you'll receive the stuff that you've been missing. Thank you for your patience, but it's forthcoming within the next couple of hours.
Thanks, Justin. That's good news. Yeah. Go ahead, Jody.
Well, I was just going to say we have a couple things in the chat. So I'll just so Shelley, for the new go live date, we are hoping it will be in Q1. There is not an official date yet, but looking into the Q1 of 2025. And technical debt. So technical debt, I kind of learned this as we were going into the project here at some point, and our OIS project manager was like, "Ooh, we don't want to create technical debt," and I was like, "Okay." I was catching new terms, right? Buzzwords, and so I was like, and basically what we were talking about is, there's some things that we needed to like prioritize and determine like where does this need to go in the stack of things, and so if we don't address things that we know are going to create anomalies in the data. Maybe a field should be required and it's sitting there as optionals. Do we go? This is just an example, okay, hypothetical. But it's basically knowing that the data or things could be tighter or better. And if you don't take certain steps, that you're going to have this debt, this technical cleanup that has to happen. So it's like, that it's like, okay, well, if we go this route, it's kind of like if you're going into roads with data and you haven't reported, say, for 12 months, right, into MOTS, like now we're going into MOTS with data that's 12 months old from MOTS into roads. And now we're going to try and have to get you spooled up to get that data cleaned up and to get you back on track for reporting on a regular cadence. And so when we're going to a new system like that, if we can, the cleaner we can have your data on the way in to roads, the easier it's going to be to keep you functioning and moving smoothly, because there's going to be a lot of moving parts and pieces as we get into the new system. Currently now we have a little bandwidth to be like, okay, you haven't reported for a while. We got stuff's out of alignment, right? There's some debt here of not being accurate. And so now is a better time for us to try to help you get current and clean up your data than it is to wait until you get into roads and just think, oh, well, when we get into the new system, we'll just do it then. No, we're bringing everything from MOTS into roads. So the technical debt came up just through the project of like, when that something's going to be out there, and from a data perspective, we kind of call it debt. Like, we know it's something we got to mitigate, take care of, shore up, get balanced on the books, right? That's my version of technical debt.
That's pretty good. I looked it up right before the webinar, and it's it actually came from the developers world. If you are creating code and you are making something work quick and dirty, and that's a technical term that we used a lot. You have a problem, you solve it, but in a bit of a roundabout way, and it kind of works. So for now, it's good, but it's not. It's very difficult to maintain it. So in the future, when somebody else looks at it and you're not there, they look at that code and they say, what were they doing here? And nobody has a clue, but it is working. So, but it means a lot of extra work if you're going to upgrade that system, because you have to deal with that code that's in there. And the more of those quick and dirty and easy fixes are in there, the more extra work it'll be later for individuals cleaning it up. So that's where it came from. And it's kind of loosely used in the data world as well. So just FYI.
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see the SSN question, and what I recognize, Liz, is that yeah, when you have your last four digits as a verification code, and I don't think we need that. I think it needs to be a complete SSN, but
Yeah,
it's something to be
it does.
can be discussed. Yeah, we don't do X's and then the last four or something.
So for the roads V2, that is the full SSN field or the full number that gets submitted to us, not just the last four on a client. Okay, so not
Right.
for anything else, but when you're submitting your client, it would need to be the full number. Now, Kayla can probably help me out here, but I believe that this number is being masked in certain areas to limit visibility. Correct, Kayla?
I know that we have asked for it to be masked in certain areas. I do not know upon go live where the mask will be or if there will be one.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Thomas.
Um, Within the EHR I work with for Dr. Cloud, when you first enter it in by editing the demographics, it does appear with dashes in the appropriate places. Once that is saved, only the last four are shown. Now, if that stays that way in the reporting, that might cause some problems. We have one client in Oregon, we're saying that that's been kind of causing an issue with some of their submittals, and they were asking to have it stripped out. That's what caused me to reach out to Jody and ask about the SSN in the first place.
Yeah, we won't be showing it anywhere. It's one of those codes that will not be on any of the reports, or of course, but it is not required, as we know so far, for now, and it needs to be the whole one. So hopefully that can
Well, we
work.
didn't want to make it required and then
Now,
have folks just put in
all
all nine.
nines, or yeah, something like that. Yeah,
And
we,
sometimes you have to do
yeah,
that if we've got requirements and you just don't have the data, right? So,
yep. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, as we all know, the recording will be on the MOTS website under webinars and newsletters. And one of the newsletters is the Roads Navigator, and it has future webinar dates. It's something that you should get in your email. And if you don't, then obviously our system doesn't have your correct email or has another individual within your organization where we send all that information to. So you might want to check that if you get it or not. And the next client entry focused webinar will be on December 4th, right before Sinterklaas. And on there are the signups, and they are available on your website. Any questions? Not seeing anything. The contact information I promised you guys at the beginning, the mod support at odhsoha.oregon.gov, roads at odhsoha.oregon.gov, and then everybody's email at oha.oregon.gov. Mary, Jody, Justin, Anna, Kelly, Kayla, and Cecilia, all there. Okay, well, I thank you all very much for a excellent webinar and hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as you can see, you know where to find us. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.